Good morning and a very warm welcome to reading for years 3 and 4, and this is week 9, lesson 1, lesson focus. So today we will read chapter 13 of Fantastic Mr. Fox. You will then look at some of the vocabulary used in this chapter and write your own sentences using these words. We will be looking at what type of character Mr. Fox really is. You will also design an invitation for Mr. Fox to invite the other animals to his feast. Today's learning objective. I can check that the text makes sense to me. And your success criteria. I can check that the text makes sense to me. I can also discuss my understanding of the text. I can even explain my understanding of the text. Let's look at some of the vocabulary that we will come across whilst reading the text today. And our first word is proclaimed. What does proclaimed mean? So to proclaim is to announce something publicly or officially. And here is a sentence example. The government proclaimed lockdown. Our next word is rafters. Have you heard of this word before? So rafters are a beam forming part of the internal framework of a roof. And our sentence example, the cluttered garage was packed all the way up to the rafters with boxes sitting on some of the top beams. Ravenously, what does this mean? It means you are extremely hungry. And our sentence example, we were all ravenously hungry after the walk. So, luscious. What does luscious mean? Luscious is having a delicious taste or smell. And sentence example, the strawberries were full of luscious flavours. Our next word, morsels. What does this mean? So morsels are is a small piece or amount of food. Sentence example, the dog had kept a few morsels hidden from their owner. Twerp. Have you heard of this word? What does it mean? So a twerp is a silly or annoying person. And our sentence example, the man was an annoying twerp. Okay, we're now ready to read chapter 13. Bunce's giant storehouse. My dear Foxy, cried Badger, what in the world has happened to your towel? Don't talk about it, please, said Mr. Fox. It's a painful subject. They were digging the new tunnel. They dug on in silence. Badger was a great digger, and the tunnel went forward at a terrific pace now that he was lending a paw. Soon they were crouching underneath yet another wooden floor. Mr. Fox grinned slyly, showing sharp white teeth. If I am not mistaken, my dear Badger, he said, we are now underneath the farm which belongs to that nasty little pot-bellied dwarf, Bunce. We are, in fact, directly underneath the most interesting part of that farm. Ducks and geese, cried the small foxes, licking their lips. juicy, tender ducks and big fat geese. Exactly, said Mr. Fox. But how in the world can you know where we are? Asked Badger. Mr. Fox grinned again, showing even more white teeth. Look, he said, I know my way around these farms blindfold. For me, it's just as easy below ground as it is above it. He reached high and pushed up one wooden floorboard, then another. He poked his head through the gap. Yes, he shouted, jumping up into the room above. I've done it again. I've hit it smack on the nose, right in the bullseye. Come and look. Quickly, Badger and the three small foxes scrambled up after him. They stopped and stared. They stood and gaped. They were so overwhelmed they couldn't speak. But what they now saw was a kind of fox's dream, a badger's dream, a paradise for hungry animals. This, my dear old Badger, proclaimed Mr. Fox, is Bunce's mighty storehouse. All his finest stuff is stored in here before he sends it off to market. Against all the four walls of the great room, stacked in cupboards and piled upon shelves, reaching from floor to ceiling, were thousands and thousands of the finest and fattest ducks and geese, plucked and ready for roasting. And up above, dangling from the rafters, there must have been at least 100 smoked hams and 50 sides of bacon. Just feast your eyes on that, cried Mr. Fox, dancing up and down. What do you think of it, huh? Pretty good grub. Suddenly, as though springs had been released in their legs, the three hungry small foxes and the ravenously hungry badger sprang forward to grab the luscious food. Stop, ordered Mr. Fox. This is my party, so I should do the choosing. The others fell back, licking their chops. Mr. Fox began prowling around the storehouse, examining the glorious display with an expert eye. A thread of saliva slid down one side of his jaw and hung suspended in midair, then snapped. We mustn't overdo it, he said. Mustn't give the game away. Mustn't let them know what we've been up to. We must be neat and tidy and take just a few of the choicest morsels. So to start with, we shall have 4 plump young ducks. He took them from the shelf. Oh, how lovely and fat they are. Excuse me, no wonder Bunce gets a special price for them in the market. All right, Badger, lend me a hand to get them down. You children can help as well. There we go. Goodness me, look how your mouths are watering. And now I think we had better have a few geese. 3 would be quite enough. We'll take the biggest. Oh my, you've never seen finer geese than these in a king's kitchen. Gently does it, that's the way. And what about a couple of nice smoked hams? I adore smoked ham. Don't you, Badger? Fetch me that snack ladder, will you please? Mr. Fox climbed up the ladder and handed down 3 magnificent hams. And do you like bacon, Badger? I'm mad about bacon, cried Badger, dancing with excitement. Let's have a side of bacon, that big one up there. And carrots, Dad, said the smallest of the 3 foxes. We must take some of those carrots. Don't be a twerp, said Mr. Fox. You know we never eat things like that. It's not for us, Dad. It's for the rabbits. They only eat vegetables. My goodness me, you're right, cried Mr. Fox. What a thoughtful little fellow you are. Take 10 bunches of carrots. Soon all this lovely loot was lying in a neat heap upon the floor. The small foxes crouched close, their noses twitching, their eyes shining like stars. And now, said Mr. Fox, we shall have to borrow from our friend Bunce 2 of those useful pushcarts over in the corner. He and Badger fetched the pushcarts, and the ducks and the geese and hams and bacon were loaded onto them. Quickly the pushcarts were lowered through the hole in the floor. The animals slid down after them. Back in the tunnel, Mr. Fox again pulled the floorboards very carefully into place so that no one could see they had been moved. My darlings, he said, pointing to 2 of the 3 small foxes, take a cart each and run back as fast as you can to your mother. Give her my love and tell her we are having guests for dinner. The badgers, the moles, the rabbits, and the weasels. Tell her it must be truly a great feast, and tell her the rest of us will be home as soon as we've done one more little job. Yes, Dad, right away, Dad, they answered, and they grabbed a trolley each and went rushing off down the tunnel. Learning activity 1. So use the vocabulary that we have looked at today, and you are going to write your own sentences using the following words. Proclaimed, rafters, ravenously, luscious, morsels, and twerp. So complete the worksheet. Learning activity 2. We have really grown to know Mr. Fox very well in the past couple of chapters. Which chapter so far do you think has been the best for showing who Mr. Fox really is? And you need to explain your answer. Can you find any words or phrases to help the reader to imagine what type of character Mr. Fox really is? And you now need to complete your worksheet. And here is today's plenary. So, Mr. Fox wants to invite all the other animals to a feast. It will be a feast of all feasts. You are going to decide the invite for him. You need to include a date, a time, a venue, and you could even include a menu.